Hello and welcome back to Lotus Reverie, first Nexus. In between the last episode and this one, I looked over the guide on how a battle works again and realized that if you're boost, you can move 6 tiles. So that explains how those people could move so far in that last battle. Okay, let's have a look. In terms of main events, we only have freeway dates. Secondary events, we have a ton. We could do more exploration. We could go to the training ground, go to the library. Our options are wide open. What I want to do is do a secondary event first. Incomprehension, let's go. First of all, I have a question. At this point, I've gotten used to all these regulations we have for everything. Yes, that's right. Have you been having trouble with any of them? No, I get why they're there, but my question is more straightforward. Why don't we have a regulation about this? Ah, she called me this? She doesn't even consider me a person. I don't see a problem. Anyone can go anywhere they wish inside the castle, and it's not like she's hiding it or anything. More like she's very bad at hiding it, but anyway, it doesn't end there. For example... Zink, I bought you a drink, just like you wanted. I have another one for you, boss. That's very kind of you, Columbine. Thank you. And as a side dish? No. You didn't let her finish. Let me guess, is it poison, bleach, chloroform, or cyanide? Yes. You put your drink to the side and stare at Thistle, indicating with your eyes that this was what you were talking about. Now that you mention it, since tulpas are immortal, no one dares to poison another person. If they chose the wrong target, they'd be exposed and wouldn't get anything out of it. It is very risky, so we don't have any regulations on the subject so far, but perhaps now we should add one in. Ring ring, that's the issue calling. Saying you went way past it, can you focus for a minute? Do not worry, Sing. Suicide is not banned, nor is it discouraged. In fact, I would say it's an appropriate response to the situation we're in. The issue called again to let you guys know that both of you left your common sense behind. Come on, Sink, I was just messing around. Of course we get it. Thistle shuffles closer and places his hands on the shoulders of both you and Columbine. I'm glad you two have built such a tight-knit friendship between yourselves despite the circumstances. Please take care of each other. I will, boss. I won't take my eyes off of Sink. Ever. Thistle nods, convinced, and marches out with a proud spring to his step. My job here is done. Good luck. Good luck. I'll go back to my corner to keep watch. There's not a normal person in this castle, is there? You understand Columbine better now. It doesn't seem like much has changed between you and Thistle. Yep. Alright. You have some other secondary events. Misled, Violet and Rue. Go on. There's one interesting event that repeats almost every day. Rue being distracted. Let's go out. Are you ready? Ready whenever you are. Why are you barefoot, Rue? Oh? Who cares? I'll go like this. How are you going to go out like this? Over time you've realized that Rue is just inherently indifferent to the problems that normal people have. Instead of being distracted, it's more that he just doesn't pay any attention to anything in the first place. Rue, you forgot your pants. Huh? Oh my. Don't go out. They'll see you. Who cares? If I get up close and personal, they won't realize. The magic of perspective. I think this can be considered sexual harassment. One would think there must be a limit to how much disdain and apathy a person can hold within them without dying from sheer lack of motivation to continue breathing. Until you meet Rue. Rue, you forgot all your clothes. Huh? Again? Don't go out. Who cares? What is that supposed to be? You have no idea how difficult it was to censor him in time. Ah, I see. What? And so on and so forth, almost every day. Hey, Rue? What's up? You forgot your clothes again? Ah, you mean this? I just forgot to take out the censorship. Oh. It's better if you don't ask. But when the odd has become commonplace and the common an oddity, you realize something that you had previously ignored. Rue, no. No what? Wait, today Rue isn't indecent. Huh? But then... The man shrugs, having no idea what you're talking about, while Violet stiffens up like she's been turned to stone. Something is lacking. What am I going to do with all this free time now? In the end, the weird one is you. Unfortunately, or fortunately depending on one's perspective, Rue remained just as absent-minded from then on. That day was just an exception. Understand Rue and Violet better now. Yep, certainly do. We have time for one more. What do we do? Rose. Oh wait, no falsification. So, Rose, what's the limit of what you can make with your magic? Where's this question coming from? Seeing you create electronic devices with their own software got me wondering, what's the hardest or strangest thing you can do? Rose taps a finger to her chin, thoughtful. I believe I can make almost anything. My ability is more to do with knowing the device itself in detail than anything else. So I need to first build one with my own hands to properly study it. After that I can just replicate it with magic, adding some modifications if necessary. It's already impressive that you're able to memorize the entire structure after building it just once. Right? Wonderful. You finally understand the sheer magnitude of greatness. Come praise me more. I was also wondering, if you're able to build anything, have you really never abused that power? Anyone else in your situation would have tried to create forgeries for expensive stuff like works of art. Do you take me for a criminal or something? Please, why bother with forgeries when I am, well, me? Duplicating creative endeavors such as works of art requires incredibly high precision. The subconscious always has trouble with symbols and the subjective. Beyond that extra requirement, the work isn't much different from any other normal forgery. Replacing the exact materials usually ends up being the hardest part. Shouldn't materials be the easiest part? It's not so much the material itself as it is making the materials show the same age as the original. Same thing for texture, color and other such details. A magic caster usually doesn't care to carry the flaws over, but instead creates a perfect version of the item that forgets any unnecessary characteristics. Did you know that one of the most common pitfalls made by magicians forging objects is failing to replicate the smell? If something lacks a smell, it's generally a sign it was made with magic. Imagining and recreating smell is surprisingly difficult. Apparently not for you. Because I'm perfect, my friend. I could forge anything I wanted, but I don't need to. I've always been rolling in cash. Of course. As the saying goes, the gods send nuts to those who have no teeth. Alright, never heard of that saying before. Hey there, Thistle. Anything interesting worth talking today? In any case, what should we talk about? Do we have anything? No, we're not talking about the underground passage. Well, don't have anything to ask today. I guess that increases our tension to the max? We'll see. No, not yet. Okay. Alright. Should we go on a main event? Sure. Alright. Off we go. Freeway date. Yes. We're starting the event. Helio is the host. Columbine is his tulpa. With the truth revealed, you feel closer to them than ever, but one final step still remains. The three of you drive to an unknown location, under the pretext of a promise you cannot remember. Well, can you tell me about that promise yet? Are you nervous? Don't worry, we're almost there. You sigh. Someone else being at the wheel annoys you. That worried face, Sink. Columbine digs her nails into the back of your seat in sheer excitement. There it is. Close your eyes. The car stops and the doors open. Columbine takes your hand to guide you, giving her panting breaths and a glint in her eye. You're pretty sure it's not a gesture of trust. Helio appears to hesitate for a while until he finally does the same, reaching out and grabbing your other hand. His hand seems to be trembling a bit. Here we are. A colorful and exciting world blossoms in front of you. Bright lights and music on the streets, crowned by a large water fountain at its center. The roller coaster, the Ferris wheel, the merry-go-round, the food stands. This is the amusement park. Is this somehow related to that promise? Does that matter now? We're at an amusement park. But the ride lights are off and we don't know if it's safe. Don't underestimate me, lass. Lass? Helio raises his voice while flouncing around, trying to sound bombastic. Columbine went to take care of that trifle. If you'll forget about that at least for a second. Helio cuffs off to the side and swaggers around while you raise a worried eyebrow. We're here by the work and grace of destiny, which has reunited us once again. More like you invited me. I'm content as long as this small surprise I prepared pleases you. I need no thanks. I wasn't planning to give you any. For there's no bigger reward than your smile, and for that I'll make sure you remember this as the best day of your life. Not too hard considering how I don't remember my life, amnesia and all that. Give me your hand, and your lips may ask for any wish of your choosing. I'll take care of making it a reality. The lights from the rides turn on. The gears start spinning. The silence, solitude, suffering, the incident, all of it vanishes. You've made it to a new world. After everything that's happened, a knowing smile escapes onto your face, followed by a little chuckle. Any wish? Then I want you to stop that perverted attitude. It's giving me a case of the shivers. It's extremely weird, for real. Sorry. The two people who tried to kill you in the past have invited you to the amusement park. A return to, or more like a first contact with childhood innocence. The place where dreams become true. How could you not make the best out of this situation, don't you think? I was just doing an impression of someone I knew. Yeah. I mean, I would never behave like that. I'm way more considerate than that. It was a joke. Whatever you say. That guy was quite the hotshot back in the day, but of course everything is subjective. He would also go after anyone. That's all fine and dandy, Helio, but stop passing the buck and get on the ride right now. The last thing you could have expected was coming to an amusement park with both Helio and Columbine. You set one condition though. You will be the one choosing the rides. There's no one else in the entire park, of course, and since you can pick anything, what better idea than starting with the world-renowned king of the park? The fastest, highest and most violent roller coaster in the entire world. Don't waste any more time. I'm looking forward to this. Can you go a single day without being scary? Out of nowhere, Columbine pops up on the seat behind you. Don't be rude. I've been here from the beginning. I joined the two of you right after I started the rides. Although I fancied an aggressive side of you too. I almost preferred when you were sneaky about following me around. I always knew where you were hiding, not like now. Alright, I'm in. Helio sits down next to you, still in the middle of checking the security measures in every possible way he can. It's been a while since the last time someone used this, so we have to check whether it's actually safe to use. We don't want an accident now. Now that I think about it, someone will have to go press the start button. Off you go, Helio. If either of you is afraid, we could do a test run first. I don't mind. We could use a doll or something. Why don't we get out and find a mannequin? Helio? Yes? We're already moving. How is that possible? I did it. There was an option to start with a countdown. You did what? What if it's dangerous? No. I checked all the characteristics and even the warnings. It's safe. Too safe. Don't say that in such a disappointed tone of voice. Despite its speed, there have never been any accidents. That's good to know. Only around 6 people have died from heart attacks due to the thrill of the ride. How is that safe? 7 is a lucky number. Let's see if this time... Let's not make that 9 and it'll be a good day. Helio, was this your plan? Bring you to a park with such a dangerous ride, anticipating I'd pick it? It's not that. Don't get the wrong idea. Because it's great. It's the best surprise anyone could ever give me. If you like it, then I guess it was worth... The car plummets straight down. You laugh, Columbine yells, Helio dies. Only metaphorically, though looking at him he was cutting it close. Since they let you choose, you try out all the fastest and most dangerous rides. Even Columbine, who was enjoying all that risking her life deal, has started to sway and zigzag when she walks. And poor Helio hobbles along, leaning on a cane, looking to have aged 30 years in the span of a few hours. What about we make a quick stop to eat, breathe, or something? So soon? If we start digestion now, we won't be able to ride anything dangerous for a couple hours. It's decided then, let's go eat. But, please... With Helio knocked out, Columbine calls you to follow her. She invites you to one of the many restaurants of the park. It seems she had already assembled your food there beforehand. Only a few remaining preparations are needed. How much poison is there in each one of them? For a second you wonder where you should start, since your cooking skills can be categorized as a natural disaster. Columbine, however, quickly pulls out a knife and displays cooking techniques you didn't even know existed. Well, I mean, Helio imagined a perfect girl, of course she'd cook. Typical Helio. Columbine? The girl looks around and you have to call her back with a gesture. Oh my, I'm sorry. Columbine appears to be almost done creating an entire banquet's worth of food, and you can't help but praise her. Oh, thanks. It's not every day that I can enjoy your adulations, but I always prefer it when you get all aggressive. But if this makes you happy, then that's more than enough. I'm sure Helio also appreciates everything you do for him. Sing, how naive of you. I love seeing you like this, but we both know what's going on here. I don't think so. Well, I mean, I'm not stupid. I've realized how Helio treats me. But that was never my intention. I haven't done anything to warrant him feeling that way. I don't even know how I should respond, since I don't know how I felt about him before I lost my memories. I think it's a mistake to try to imitate me or learn from me just for that. The movements of her knife come to a halt. She looks at you with apathy in her eyes. Oh, you're getting the wrong idea. Love is the least of it at this point. No, it never ever existed in the first place. This is not a love triangle, nor a screwball comedy. Yes, I know. I look like a girl he had a crush on. The whims of a teenager, sure, but that's not how love works. Oh no. You probably heard it from his own mouth already, but that girl was nothing more than an acquaintance. He only exchanged like 2 words with her during his time as a student. But he idealized the versus the real version of that person who conquered your heart long ago. What do they have in common? Helio is not to blame for imagining the kind of woman most would want. Nice body, kind, gracious, loyal, good at cooking. Columbine pauses and points at herself with the top of the knife. Oops. But what we wish for and what we need don't generally go hand in hand. A girl like that is boring. How long do you think it took for us to get bored of each other? A true relationship has its highs and lows, its struggles and reconciliations. We never had any of that in our case. If I know cooking or some other skill, it is because you wished for me to be that way. Praising me for any of those virtues makes no sense. I did not earn them, or even ask for them. The girl plays with the knife, scraping the blade against the palm of her hand, never drawing blood. I was born Tulpa. Everything I was and am, it was all decided by my destiny from the start. If I want to have any chance at freedom, all I can do is to win and become human, but for that I would need his help. My face, my identity, my name, even my death would require his permission. By the time she finishes her sentence, the knife has drifted up to her face. Columbine gazes at her own reflection in the stainless steel for a few seconds, before continuing. But I think all of it is worth the hassle if I can cook for you. Columbine, that's not. I know, and that's why I like you, but we're not going to reach an agreement. You won't convince me with any nice speeches about being myself. I told you, I'm the first one who wants to defeat destiny. You don't need to worry. So forget it and let's finish this. Today you're supposed to have the time of your life. The best day ever. Wasn't that what he said? The girl continues cooking, ignoring any attempt to reason with her. Wow, this is delicious. My energy level is back to full. I've regained a couple of years of my lifespan, so let's quickly take them away again. Considering what he lost on the roller coasters, he still needs around 28 to go back to normal. I saw you standing in front of the fountain. What were you doing? You know there are restrooms inside, right? I wasn't doing that. You shake your head at Columbine, who clearly finds him amusing. I just wanted to try something, a little something. You feel bad using the bathrooms for free and you prefer to go outdoors. I don't get it, but I respect your position, Helio. It wasn't that, jeez. You shake your head again. Columbine is unable to hold her laughter back. Seeing this joker side of you is quite unbelievable, Sing. What do you mean? It just means you're loosening up. You're not as tense as when you arrived at the castle. I'm happy to see you like this. Helio smiles, but it doesn't seem to reach his eyes or even his voice. I'm used to Rose doing it, but I still can't get over sarcasm coming out of your mouth, Sing. Even she finds it funny. No, Columbine adjusts her hair behind her ear, avoiding Helio's gaze. Not like I'm complaining. It's refreshing to see you two like this. This trip was worth it. You pay attention to his gestures, to the disappointment that lies between his laughter and fears, to this moment. But this trip isn't over yet. I want to get back to the last few rides and attractions we haven't tried yet. Please no. Off we go, Helio. You spent the rest of the afternoon barreling from one ride to another, growing more and more lively and animated as time passes. You end up severely drenched in a river rapids ride. Luckily, Columbine brought clean clothes for both of you. But she never answers your questions on why she had a clean change of clothes for you. Next, you get on the bumper cars where you destroy the other competitors by driving with only one hand to add some extra thrills to the experience. Vehicles apparently bring out a darker part of you. That seems somewhat worrying. The House of Horrors isn't all that scary. Or at least it wasn't until you come across the most terrifying ghost you could ever imagine. When you reach the exit, you find out it was just Columbine. Even at the stages and zones for show events, you have a wonderful time playing with the costumes and fiddling with all the special effects equipment. In fact, you discover a new, previously unknown attraction for firecrackers and explosives that forces the others to stop you before it ends in tragedy. No matter the attraction though, you notice there's always a distance between Helio and Columbine. Beyond the appearances back at the castle, you are the link and nexus between the two. In no circumstance do they talk to each other about anything except the most trivial of matters. That may be the reason why you're lost in thought. Though it could also be the terrible dizziness that comes with your currently spinning around, with your body currently spinning around in the big teacups. Stop spinning, please. I can't. How is it possible that you got dizzy and I haven't yet? I can handle speed and all that, but spinning around myself while also going in circles in the opposite direction is too much for me. The strange thing here is that both of you are just fine, especially you, Helio. You were looking like a zombie between rides. Don't ask me, I didn't even know how this worked. It's my first time in an amusement park. You raise your eyes, puzzled by Helio's sentence. Are they so unusual? I took it for granted that everyone came here since the rides are so fun and it's right in the middle of the city. Most people did, I guess. I just wasn't very interested in coming to visit them myself, and I never had anyone to come with me. Not even your parents? I guess I had my parents, but we didn't have much money to spend on something like this, and I didn't want to bother them. You didn't have friends? It sounds sad when you put it that way, but that wasn't the reason either. I simply was unable to, let's say, connect with anyone. It's not like my schoolmates hated me or treated me badly, but at the same time I never hung out with them after classes or met them outside of school. If someone asked, I would always say I had plans with other friends, even my parents. I made them believe I did have a social life so as to not worry them. It's easier if you make everyone believe everything is going alright, so they don't feel rejected and will leave you alone. The spinning teacups slow down. You want to continue the conversation, but you don't know what to say in response to the boy's honesty. Oh no, please, don't feel pity for me or anything. I did it all because I wanted to, because I liked it that way. Sometimes I did think it might be nice to go out and make closer friends, but I never really met anyone who made me want to put in that effort. Hasta... Helio blushes, sneaking timid looks at you while scratching the back of his neck. But for you, the world spins around and around. Your head aches, still dizzy from all that turning. Blurred, Columbine disappears from your view. Disoriented in your eyes, only Helio remains in place in front of you. Everything else changes to muted colors, tones that move in every direction. Next to him, there's someone you cannot recognize. It's an unpleasant sensation that you can hardly bear. Beyond simple confusion or dizziness, you feel trapped. I'm serious. If we reach that extreme, if we are the last survivors and no one else is left, then I wouldn't mind giving it my all. Let me choose at least. The only voice you can hear is Helio's. It distorts and dissolves more and more to the point it becomes a drill that pierces into your brain. One part of you feels strong curiosity towards this image in front of you. The other cannot stand the nausea any moment longer. Until your eyelids close. You lose track of time. The next thing you know, the two sitting next to you are calling your name. The headache has vanished. You feel perfectly fine, like nothing happened just now. Then you immediately sit up straight. Sink, are you alright? When you see their worried faces right next to each other, an epiphany hits your mind, one that makes you jump out of your seat. I got it. You turn the steering wheel of the teacup, making your two companions collide into each other. I'm fine, I feel wonderful. Less whining and let's go somewhere else. I've had enough of this ride. Both Helio and Columbine react bashfully after their clash, but they follow you immediately. Night approaches. The promised day will not last forever. The next ride will be the last. It's my turn to press the switch. I'll start the countdown and come back. You two just have to wait inside. Do you know how it works? In all the other rides, it's a button you turn and... Yes, I've seen it before. I'll be back in a minute. You walk away from the Ferris wheel while the other two take their seats, facing each other, waiting silently for your return, not quite sure where to look. Did you hear something? Columbine is caught off guard without a clue what he's talking about until something creaks next to them. And off you go, you two. Wait, where's Sync? The doors close. Soft background music starts to play. The cabin starts its slow path upwards. Helio is unable to open the door, and no matter where they look, you are nowhere to be found. Until your voice comes out from the speakers, mixed with the music. Testing, can you hear me? I'm guessing you can. I'm speaking to you from the control room. It seems I pressed the start button by mistake. What a blunder, sorry. Columbine opens her mouth, nervously stuttering. She doesn't seem very regretful. The two exchange glances, sighing when they realize what this means. This is a good moment for you to talk to each other. Not about how was your day or what's up with the weather. I know you have other subjects to discuss. Yeah, I know, the Ferris wheel is a cliche. I'd prefer to pick something more thrilling, but I think this is the most suitable place. Because the habitual doesn't need to be boring. You don't have to change to adapt to others, or to try to be someone who would make you uncomfortable. That goes for you, Columbine. In the same way, Helio, it just isn't sustainable to be eternally trying to please everyone, to avoid forming close relationships with others, to always think you're guilty for everything that happens to them. You both have your own ambitions and desires, but you treat each other as strangers despite how much you need one another, always thinking the two of you no longer have anything to talk about. Blame your kindness for not wanting to bother the other despite having so much to say. Columbine, you're not the boring girl you thought you were, and the time you spent with me and everyone else at the castle, you've developed your own personality. You don't have to worry about choosing between the two versions of yourself because you can be both at the same time. The loving and thoughtful girl or the obsessive and persistent stalker, there's not that much of a difference between the two, only a different way of expressing your affection. And Helio, you're not that cowardly boy without friends or self-esteem anymore. You're a hero, aren't you? You have the courage to take care of others. You faced me and your own feelings, proving your determination. You've both grown in this time you've been avoiding each other, and that's good. That's what you now have to share with one another. I'm not even talking about romance, I'm talking about the most basic of human relationships, the minimal trust that could be expected from two companions. That's why you should talk, yell at each other, get mad, express what you feel. Stop being scared, stop trying to change what you're in front of others. There's nothing wrong in being selfish for once and taking a stance. The problem won't go away if it's ignored. It's much better to confront it head on. And I know you both have dreams to fulfill. There's nothing wrong with wanting to live, no matter the cost. That's what I think, what I probably meant when I met you for the first time, even if I no longer remember. The cabin rises up above the city, its lights attracting their attention before their eyes meet in the reflection of the window. It's awkward and embarrassing, and they blush in sync, which then leads to a mutual smile. So you two don't get to leave until you dot your I's and cross your T's. In my opinion, if you want to fight it out, that'd be even better. Sometimes you have to charge at the problem head on. I wouldn't want it any other way. You sigh, one last sentence escaping your lips, so soft as to be a whisper. I don't want you to make a bad decision, to have it end without even trying first. The broadcast finishes. You still aren't fully sure if they managed to hear you at all. There's no way you can know, as you can't hear them back, only watch from a distance. Enjoying the beautiful view of the sunset, waiting for the moment the Ferris wheel stops spinning. You wait in front of the cabin, the doors open. Helio and Columbine shyly approach you. Sync, sorry, it seems I always manage to complicate your life instead of helping you. No need to apologize. Did you manage to talk? Helio looks over at Columbine before nodding. You realized from the very start the reason why we're here. And I'm grateful. It was a lot of fun. It sure was. The time with you, the time at the castle. It was so much fun. But everything must come to an end eventually. The duo look at each other again, visibly hesitating. I'm sorry, Sync. I never wanted to end it like this. It is I who want you to do the right thing. You both have a dream, and I won't let you throw it away because of me. I want it to be fair. I want you to give your best. You smile. Helio swallows, finding it difficult to say anything. Columbine pats his shoulder and helps Helio to calm down. And then the two fix their gazes on you. Under the rules of this game, Columbine and I challenge you to a duel, Sync. For I would always win. You raise your head. It's a minute to midnight. You're alone, sitting on one of the benches, watching one of the park clocks count down to the start of the confrontation. The fight will be in this very park, from which none of the participants can leave. You're trapped in a terrible destiny between life and death. 30 seconds to midnight. You know what you have to do. Helio tried to remind you. Columbine made it crystal clear. You want to live, for only the living will have a chance at obtaining answers. And they also want the same. 10 seconds to midnight. You stand up, take a deep breath. You take a look around. You're still alone. Shouldn't someone be coming to your aid? 3, 2, 1. Alone or not, it doesn't matter anymore. You take off running, avoiding open spaces and keeping track of your surroundings. Considering the size of the park and the time it's been since you split off from them, they could be anywhere. You, on the other hand, are alone. You know they will flank and surround you if you stay in the same place for too long, especially knowing they have more than 2 pairs of eyes. A Kepata walks openly through the streets. If it finds you, Helio will immediately know your position. You cannot allow that to happen. You have to avoid them. Several Kepatas wander around the area, the numbers continuing to grow. The longer you spend without attacking, the more difficult it will be to move around without being noticed. You have to hurry. Although it seems it won't take long. You can see him. Helio peeks out from behind the protection rails of a ride. You have to follow him and take this chance. You jump the fence and follow him to the entrance of the haunted house. An enclosed and poorly lit space like this one could easily turn into a trap, but at the same time you're absolutely confident they didn't see you coming. Either they are using the house as a hiding place until a Kepata manages to sniff you out, or they want to lure you inside and use the complex interior against you. In any case, none of that matters if Helio comes down before he has time to react. You hold your knife in your hands, a jump, crossing the threshold of the door at full speed, and there he is. Helio turns to face you, but it is too late. He doesn't even have time to change his facial expression. Yours doesn't change either. Are you ready to fight against someone you were laughing with just a few hours ago? You already accepted that destiny. You dart past him, making sure you slice his neck cleanly. It's fast, simple, too easy. You have experienced this before. Same happened during your first battle. You look back where Helio should be. There's no one there now. Your biggest fear came true. You fell for that trap. Damn! The steel edge falls on you without any mercy, but you manage to bend back, your spine hitting the floor, avoiding the blade by just a few millimeters. But that's not the end. Holding his sword in both hands, Helio leaps on you. You try to get away, avoiding his strike behind you and running straight for the door. Upon making it outside, you quickly scan for the best escape route. But you have no time to do so. The crack of a gunshot. Your body trembles in place. Droplets of blood splash onto the pavement at your feet. It was her, of course. You didn't see me coming, right, Sink? Even when you've lost everything, you still don't lose that firm resolution in your face. I love it. I love it so much. I would never get tired of looking at you. Columbine. Helio emerges from the building, drawing Columbine's attention after a brief moment where she's too focused on you to notice his presence. You can't hear the exchange between the two, but Columbine reacts with dejection and disappointment. Huh? Yeah, I know. I already know. Sink, such a beautiful name. Much better than the other one. It always made me jealous. The long barrel of her revolver points directly at your head. It must be great to hear it. You close your eyes reflexively. All you hear is another gunshot piercing the air. But this one is different. It is not the end. You see Columbine collapse on the floor, her hand stretched towards her revolver a few meters away from her, and with a hysterical grin on her face. We can keep playing, Sink. You're not so alone after all. You don't waste any time in fleeing the scene while Helio and Columbine are unable to follow. Another shot in the distance catches your attention. It feels as if the bullet flew past your head, only a few meters away. You run in one particular direction. Somewhere around here, there's a sniper who just saved your life. Both Helio and Columbine have disappeared from your view. You try to catch your breath while looking for this new person. From the sky falls a bullet casing, producing a quiet tink when it bounces on the concrete. Right in front of you is a large metallic column from the freefall ride, and you hear a voice coming from atop it. The machinery starts its habitual motion. Living up to its name, it only takes a few seconds for the seats to descend. A man with a long rifle in hand casually jumps to the floor, leaving behind this improvised sniper vantage point. A tulpa for each human, a host and a tulpa. In this world you are not alone. You never were. He was always there. Sorry I took so long to get here, although you could have warned me beforehand if you're looking for a brawl. How are you doing, Sync?
So it was you. Why did you never tell me?
You never asked.
Are you kidding me?
Sorry. I just wanted to keep it short, girl. No need to get mad after I saved your skin.
Are you my partner or what? Who am I and who are you? Human? Tulpa? Why do I not remember anything?
Hold your horses. Too many questions. Allow me to remind you we're in the middle of a duel to the death and we should focus on coming up with a plan to survive. Afterwards, I'll answer everything you want. I'll remove the one question per day limit and everything, just so you see how generous I am. Plus, I'm sure you're smart enough to guess most of it already. You click your tongue in irritation, both from the pain from your wounds and from your simmering anger. Our lives are tied together, Sync. Do not forget that. You may not like me, not now or ever, who knows. But I do have my reasons to act the way I do. We depend on one another, and if you want to see a new day, you'll have to trust me. His words cut deep. Your breathing finally returns to normal. Just answer me one thing. You raise a finger aggressively, your eyes fixed on Thistle's.
Where are your glasses?
Oh, that. I don't need them. I never did.
You sigh and shake your head. You use a spell to heal your arm up and you feel much better. But you have no time to waste. You need to focus in on what's really important. Do you need a summary of the situation?
Thanks, but no. We're connected, remember? I intuitively know what's going on. The damage received by one party is also felt by the other. The same for what we see or feel. That's why you know where to look to find me before.
That's why you knew where to look.
Sharing the same damage between us also helps increase our resilience. Damage that would be lethal in a normal situation isn't so bad when reduced by half. But getting shot still hurts like hell, so let's avoid that, alright? What we need is a plan.
The battle is about to begin. Are you ready? Relocate slots. What do you mean relocate slots? Okay, no, that's... I mean, I can have all of them, sure. And then a library... Wait, that saves. Yeah, looks fine. Okay, let's go. Alright.
Moving through the park is going to be tough. There's too many dark zones where we won't see them until they are very close. We'll have to look for a way to surround them and catch them by surprise. What could we?
Maybe I can use a roller coaster up north to move from one place to another. If I wait for the ride to come and jump in.
Are you insane? Do you know how dangerous that is?
We're not in a spot to worry about such dangers, Thistle.
Alright, I know I can't talk it out with you, but the ride isn't working at the moment, so someone needs to go there and turn it on, and... yeah, you already know, I'm sorry. In any case, I trust you, Sync. Let's survive this.
Okay. They're all the way over there, and there is a capacitor as well. Alright, this is going to be tough, I assume. Got Helu and Columbine. Do we have anything? I don't think we can check what they're able to do. The question is, do I want to go towards them and attack straight away, or do I want to walk around and risk losing them entirely? You know what? We'll try the direct approach first, just because we can, to get a bit of a grip on their abilities and everything. No, sure. It's fortify. And just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Go here. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, here. God damn it. Here, please. And Thistle will do the same. Expert Sniper. Attack those two. Go here. And you'll boost, because that might enable you to hit them if they go straight forward. Yeah, Healer is going to be in range. Alright, we're fortified. Helio summons a Caparzo. We do 30 damage. That's good. That's a start. Okay, turn 2. Columbine walked up. So I kind of want to go up there as well. 45. Got no reason for that. Do we? Do we have anything that has a range that's longer? No, we don't. Let's go with sword. Thistle, we'll keep going with expert sniper. You know what? We'll choose the path up here. Why? Oh, that's what's happening. Obviously, because they're in sight, we're going to attack them. And they're almost done. Okay. The Caparzo is still alive, but other than that, this is looking like a very short battle. Sure, let's keep using the sword. And Thistle with the expert sniper. Just attack. Or tactical combat. No, use the expert sniper. Yeah, go on. Okay, that means Thistle can't attack, but I did enough damage to Columbine to Relentless Destiny. Okay, that did a lot of damage. And Asura Mirage. Okay, we survived as long as the Caparzo doesn't attack. 5. Oh god. Is that a draw now? What happens now? Do we just lose? Okay. Restart. Alright, so everything worked perfectly, so I'll just... Yes. What I'll do is I'll do the same. I'll just repeat it until we get to that point again. What did I do though? I went with Fortify, Boost, walking here. Thistle will do the same. Boosted, walk here, and attack. And we'll see if... Okay, this time Columbine walked down. Okay. Helio is going to summon Caparzo, as he did before, and we'll do our 30 damage. What I'll try now is this. Slightly different. Magic, no. Defense, no. I'll just go with that, that's fine. And walk down here. Pistol, walk down here as well. I just want to check it out and see what... Ah! Don't attack. No. That's fine. There's Columbine. So I've done 53 damage to her. And Thistle won't be able to attack. Okay. Now... Thistle. Expert Sniper. I want you to walk down here. And... Sink. Ignore Columbine. Walk down here too. Yes. That should work. Because that means Sync will be able to attack Columbine, but Helio is not there this time. To do any sort of reasonable damage. That does 27 damage times 2, that's fine, but that's the end of it. Yep. The battle comes to a critical moment. All that's left is to pursue Helio and finish him off. The lack of light hinders the pursuit, yet also adds an element of predictability. Helio is searching for a dark place to hide, but during the chase, there's a moment where he flees into the large main street that spans the entire width of the park. You place your bets on it being just an illusion, instead choosing to go deeper into the rides. Behind the fountain's sparkling curtain of water, Helio awaits. This is the same plaza you were in just a few hours back. Let's go one last round. It's time to fulfill our promise. The boy is short of breath, but there is not one iota of disgrace or falsehood to his words. But all the gallantry in the world cannot stop this outcome. This final exchange will decide the duel. You walk towards the fountain. Helio is prepared for your assault, no matter whether you choose to come from the right or the left. But it is neither of those two. You jump into the center of the fountain, splashing water everywhere. Helio instinctively moves to cover his eyes from the droplets. And that's all you need. Your silhouette passes him by, this time cutting through his skin and soaking the dagger's blade in blood and water. Helio falls to his knees, leaning onto the side of the fountain. Well done, Sink. Well done. The boy uses the last of his strength to turn around, to look at you. His smile never leaves his face. You look into each other's eyes. He cannot fight any longer. But something catches your attention at the last second. Sink, this is not over yet. Columbine's unmistakable voice, followed by 6 brilliant shots that seem to rotate midair at impossible angles, attacking you from every direction. But all you do is hold your ground, and the bullets pass by. Just as she had grown familiar with you over all this time, so did you with her. Her way of thinking, always one step ahead, testing her every action. And how badly she hides when she tries to go unnoticed. This was no surprise attack, this was a trap, trying to frighten you into running away so the bullets cutting off every possible path of movement would finish the job. So all you had to do was to stay still, trusting in your gut, in your destiny. I won't let this end here. No, 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 no. Her screams do not perturb you. You watch as Columbine pathetically tries to aim her gun at you. Her last attack was her ultimate gamble, one final spell that drained all her remaining strength. She can barely keep her gun up. Her hands tremble, as does her voice. The bullets fall to the ground when she tries to reload, and the girl crawls to collect them. One more time. One last chance. That's enough, Columbine. What did we talk about in the Ferris wheel? What did we agree on? I know, and if it's Sink, if it's her. The girl shakily inserts a bullet into the cylinder and raises her gun once again. The barrel still trembles, so she barely manages to stabilize it with her other hand. But not like this. I won't allow this to end as long as I live. If you take one step, move even a millimeter, I'll shoot, and I won't fail. I'll never fail again. Columbine. I'm serious. I'm your rival. Look at me. Only at me. Columbine never stops yelling. Her screams silence all the other sounds. You sigh. You have nowhere to run. As long as she's threatening you with the gun, you cannot move. Nevertheless, isn't it too dark to shoot? All the lampposts broken, the lights wrecked. Wasn't all that part of your strategy? The girl stops her wailing, obvious confusion in her eyes at your sudden change of subject. That's the best way to stop a sniper, isn't it? Not letting him see anything. While I was fighting with you, Columbine, Helio must have been preparing this, making sure the battle would be hand-to-hand combat, removing the possibility of any long-distance approach. This plaza is quite convenient, with many obstacles on the way. Back when I was chasing Helio, I could have followed that illusion and gone into the main street instead of here. If I have a sniper in my team, it would make sense to have him stationed so as to cover that entire street, wouldn't it? That would be the most logical strategy. But Helio, do you remember hearing any gunshots when your illusory double went into the street? The boy shakes his head, unable to understand your point. There were none, and that worried me a little. I thought you would realize that Thistle wasn't waiting there. Both Helio and Columbine opened their eyes wide with surprise. Yes, Thistle is my partner, or that's what it seems. I honestly don't know if I can trust him, but that part about sharing our senses, you didn't take that into account when working out your strategy, right? Even if there isn't a single light around your position, Thistle can feel through me exactly where he has to shoot. An azure flash pierces the night. It passes by your neck and hits Helio's chest. It produces a small explosion on contact that knocks Helio backward. His body crashes into the fountain, shattering its side. The water inside pours out the opening, soaking the plaza and his feet. At the exact same time, Columbine collapses, followed by the click of her revolver. The bullet was in the wrong hole of the cylinder. No matter how great the things I built. The stone debris of the fountain is scattered everywhere, washed away by the overflowing water. The artificial drizzle cleans the blood from your bodies, accompanied by the scant light of a sunrise that seems to come. And without an ounce of strength left in his body, Helio languishes on his knees just in front of you. His trembling hands exert an enormous effort just to pick up one of the many insignificant items that litter the slowly trickling stream. He shows it to you. It's not a weapon, not something that could change his destiny. It's nothing but a brightly colored coin. Is that the same one I gave you when we went to the hospital? Helio slowly nods. So that was what you were doing when I saw you next to the fountain this afternoon. You were making a wish. Despite his attempt to twitch his lips, he's unable to smile. He can't even look at you. He stutters, his faltering and gasping words making their way into your heart one last time. Everything can find its own purpose, even a coin in a world where money has lost its value. Although, to tell you the truth, this coin already fulfilled its purpose. I'm sure my wish will come true. Was I helpful? Did I fulfill my part of the promise? In the silence, the light of dawn brightens, illuminating Helio's bloodless face with greater clarity. That promise. You came here to find a way to end this game, but there was none. Our clock was about to expire. The Tulpa dies with its host if there isn't a duel before the time limit. But I came to care too much for everyone in the castle. What did you expect me to do? Especially you. I want you to be able to get out of here alive. But after that speech at the Ferris wheel with your character, you wouldn't be content with an unjust victory, and I also had to make sure you were ready for all the challenges that still await you. The boy wordlessly curses his wounds, his body shivering even more fiercely. I won't be able to help you, but my wish lives on in you. You gave me courage, and this is the least I could do to give something back. So don't worry, okay? Go on your way. Don't feel pity, just remember me, like a hero. You squeeze your weapon between your fingers. The fortitude you've had this entire battle is faltering, but you know what you have to do. You take a deep breath, take one step forward, and then... Is that true? Footsteps splashing in a puddle announce Thistle's arrival. Looking down on the kneeling Helio, he repeats his question. Are you sure this is what you wanted? To sacrifice yourself for the woman you love? The boy looks away, his pupils empty. Yes. Even though you knew Sink is not the same woman? Thistle's words pierce the atmosphere, but there is none of your surprise in Helio's face. She is her. She is... Human? Sink? Thistle steps closer, trampling on the drenched ground below him. Her wounds are not healing. She's mortal like us. She can't remember anything, but... Who are you trying to deceive with that lie? The boy's entire body trembles. I put my life in danger to find out. It is her. She is the girl who saved me. Thistle lets out an exasperated sigh. You realized from the very beginning, but didn't want to believe it. You would accept any excuses to believe your own lie. But the girl you met was human, since only humans are able to summon Kapatas. Why didn't you try to teach Sink how to summon Kapatas? Were you afraid of discovering she wouldn't be capable of doing it? What's more, you've probably already experienced it for yourself, but Sink is unable to hear the name of the girl you were expecting. Because Sink is a Tulpa. Thistle's declaration strikes down like lightning, but somehow it does not disturb you. A short whisper escapes your lips, barely even a breath. There's virtually no reaction from you, as if a part of you was expecting this from the start. Tulpas have two very particular characteristics. The first is that they are unable to recognize their own faces. The second is that if they were based on an already existing human, they are unable to hear that human name. I'm sure you found it odd, calling her by Sink when you knew her by another name, but you wouldn't budge to that other name, right? It was nothing but white noise for her. You can remember the last time you talked with Helio, or at the very beginning, when you still didn't know Columbine was the one stalking you. Yes, it was like noise, something that would attract your attention, but that you were unable to understand. That's why you considered it to be one of Columbine's games. But that last time in your room... Did you say something? His hand on the doorknob, the boy lowers his gaze. It takes a while until he finally shakes his head. No, I said nothing. See you later, Sink. You claim you wanted to fulfill a promise, but you knew perfectly well this girl wasn't her. No matter how similar they may look, Sink will never be. That noise at the very end of Thistle's sentence feels familiar. Helio clenches his teeth. His breathing speeds up. Hold on, Thistle, why are you doing this now? Can't you see his current state? This is nothing but the truth. Even the truth has its time and place. And this is that moment. I'm just giving him a last chance. Enough! Helio's scratchy voice cuts off your argument. He wants to say something else, but he's running out of breath. He's unable to say anything, nor does he have the courage to do so. If that is what you want... No, no! Thistle shifts even closer to him, attempting to look directly into Helio's eyes. Are you going to ignore what's around you to your very last breath? Living an innocuous life, waiting for that special, fateful moment that will take you out of your mediocrity. The boy looks away. I know. I just wanted to follow a fixed path, to not bother anyone. In the eyes of this world, I was nothing but a kid enjoying his life. But in reality, I was nothing but a foolish child with dreams far too big for me. That way the fault would never be mine. That way I could always complain. But I changed. You don't know me. I changed. I fought, I persisted, I've tried, but I'm still unable to feel anything. My own illusions were way more interesting. My heart considered them real. The stories of heroes, the legend. The boy blinks dejectedly, his hand feebly lifting in a vague gesture of his fights and struggles. That's all he can do now. Ironically, she thinks differently. It's alright, Helio. It's over now. Columbine hugs Helio from behind, draping her hands on his shoulders with tender care. You were always obsessed with the details, always craved perfection. No matter the reason, you were always the one who cared the most about the group, isn't that right? That heroism forced you to be worried about others, about what they thought and what they needed, to the point where you were unable to discern what truly matters to you. And to think I felt constrained by the destiny you made for me. But there is no greater slave than a hero. Columbine.
There's nothing wrong with that, Helio. You don't have to hide it or try to deceive anyone. Even in this very limited world, even as a tulpa, there are ways to defeat destiny.
Columbine lets go of Helio's shoulders and gives you a furtive glance. She then lets out a sigh of relief.
Sink, what you showed and taught me, I finally understand it. What you felt the day we became friends. The mistakes you've made, the weight of the yoke oppressing you, the unfairness of everything. None of it matters. Confront what you fear and desire in the same way you face death. Directly, eye to eye, never averting your gaze from reality.
The revolver barrel adheres to Helio's temple, followed by her thumb clicking the hammer down. Their faces line up, awaiting the same destiny. Her with calm, him in tears.
We were as happy as we were miserable, seized by our color and dragged around by ignorance and fear. I believed everyone else would give me a direction to walk, but that doesn't exist. Nobody knows that information. It takes courage to abandon this life by your own hand, even more when you are conscious and aware of everything you could have done. And despite that, I'm sorry. I'm so glad. I'm sorry.
The bang echoes in your ears. It seems to last an eternity, until at last you're able to hear the flowing water again. Little sparkling lights slowly dissipate in the air, mixing with the water drops, until they dissolve into a beautiful rainbow with as many colors as wishes and dreams.